What is your American dream?
American dream is become an entrepreneur here in US and bringing again some genuinity and authenticity of the Italian culture here in US.
My American dream is to serve the public. I'm running for judge and then want to continue serving on the bench and perhaps one day become a United States Senator. But I always want to give back to the community and the people that supported me along the way. My parents, and I want to make them proud.
My American dream is to make sure that our Constitution is not compromised by, the political people that are in power now, and it bothers me very much so because I am not a lawyer, but I love the law.
My American dream is just live comfortably, really. Not to be too rich, not to be too poor. Just wake up every morning and enjoy life. That's really it.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome everybody. Today is September 11th, 18 years ago today. 19 terrorists flew 4 planes. They hijacked 4 planes. 1 plane crashed in Pennsylvania. 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center and 1 into the Pentagon, killing more than 3,000 people. And there was a day of commemoration here in New York. I remember being here on 9/11, and my recollection of 9/11, and I say this every time, is that I was in the office. We had about 6 or 7 people in the office at the time, and somebody came in and said a tiny plane, like a Piper plane, like a propeller plane, hit one of the buildings. And I said, well, all the streets are going to be closed. I don't know how we're going to get home. We're thinking it was just an accident at that moment.
Right.
And I told everybody, you know what? Let's just go home. And it was a quiet day anyway. And I closed the office that day and told everybody to go home. Little did I know, by the time I got home, the buildings collapsed. And then we found out the enormity of the entire situation.
And I don't know if people realize how close this building is to the center. I think we have an image that the NYPD released of how close the building is. Like this building was, and the people in it were definitely.
We were closed. We were in the. I don't know. They had it like by sectors or areas. We're west of Broadway. East of Broadway was allowed back in about 4 weeks later. West of Broadway was not allowed back in for about 3 months. So we were barred from coming back into our office building for 3 months.
Wow.
And I had clients who were clients of our office who were working in the World Trade Center. I had acquaintances. They weren't my good friends, but certainly I knew people from college who died in 9/11. And today is the 18th anniversary. And it's marked here in New York City with a ceremony, and we read off the names of every person who passed away during 9/11. And I don't know where, I was thinking about, I'm not sure who came up with that as a commemoration. I know in the Jewish religion, on the anniversary, I don't know, do they do this in churches as well? Because I don't know, because I don't go to enough church ceremonies, but in the Jewish religion, on the anniversary of somebody's death, their name gets read off.
Oh wow!
During the service, So whenever I go to a synagogue, whether it's for New Year's or just on a weekend, I don't go often, but when I do, whatever that anniversary is of the death of anybody who is a friend or family member in that synagogue, the rabbi reads off, and it's like a list of 200, 300, 400 names. And then and ask God to give them peace and and everything else. I don't know if the ceremony came from that or if somebody's idea, but I was just thinking about how that materialized. I don't know.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea.
Right.
I know that
But
they
it's
did
done-
it very early on after the after the day, and then
Right,
it
but that's
became
how it's done in the
tradition.
Jewish religion.
That's
in
beautiful.
synagogues. They read off the names every year, the anniversary every year
That's
of the death.
I find that really beautiful
Yeah.
and a really beautiful way to keep someone's memory
Right.
alive.
And we're also, you know, we want to remember, and hopefully it never happens again, and hopefully our politicians, both Republicans and Democrat, can make sure that this doesn't happen again. It shouldn't happen not only in New York, not only in Pennsylvania, not only in Washington, D.C., not only in the United States, but anywhere in the world. Everybody should be able to live in peace and not worry about somebody's going to bomb them for some political purpose.
Right.
Which is what terrorism is. It's terror for political purpose.
Right.
Whether you agree with their political purpose or not.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why sometimes people say, you know, one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter.
Right.
You know, it depends on who, you know, which side it is. But either, no matter what side you're on, terrorism kills people for political purpose, and it doesn't belong in this world.
Absolutely.
I do have to say one other thing. We will have fun on this show.
We will.
We're not going to. We're going to talk about it because it's important to talk about it. It's important to remember. It's important to remember the people's memories, whether you knew them or didn't know them. It's important to remember the day, but it's also important to move on and have fun.
Absolutely.
Let's say hello to Lisa Blingrose. Squat up. She says, "Squat up, Uncle Brad and Kimmy." Carol Anderson, the Tiger, Angela Barrett, Kay Ann Forrester, Jeff Bosey. Kim mentioned to me that Jeff, for some reason now, feels the need to tell the entire squad where he is at all times.
We've guilted him, Brad.
Yes, he is driving right now.
Right.
Cordella Douglas, how are you? Allie Boo Beecher, Ma Dukes, Dion Reed, I said Carol Anderson, the Tiger, saying hello. Jessica Limi, Joel says squad up. What else we have here? Allie Boo Beecher said, she thought 9/11, she was watching a movie at first. She didn't realize it was even real.
Yeah,
Nobody realized.
Yeah.
You know, nobody had any idea.
No.
Abigail Taylor saying happy hump day. Yes, it is hump day. We will have our hump day news.
Absolutely.
Even though it is 9/11, we have to discuss it.
Yep.
We're still going to have some fun here, folks.
Yep.
CC Mitchell, how are you? Serene Birdson. Paulette Bryce Cameron saying hello. And Kennedy Roy on Facebook. Tracy Lacey saying happy hump day, Brad Squad. Jeanette Guard saying hello. Brad Supporter, squad up. One of my favorite names, Brad Supporter.
You don't say. I can't imagine why, Brad.
I wonder if other people could be like Brad Supporter 1A, Brad Supporter 1 with a thumbs up. How many Brad Supporter people can we get, you think?
I mean, as many as you guys want to do.
That's
It's really
right.
up to you. I feel like we can get to an easy dozen, Brad.
I would love
it would
multiple
be-
Brad supporters.
I think we could get Brad
Yes.
supporters 1 through 12.
Yes.
And I would like Belgium Kim supporters 1 through 2 as well.
Donald Horton saying hello. Max Santos. Island Girl saying hi, guys. Bridget Whittingham saying hi, Uncle Brad. Princess Martin Uniqueness. And Belgium Kim. Before we get into our host chat, and we will be talking more about 9/11, we will also be getting into our Hump Day news. Can you please let everybody know what they need to do to share? Because we'll also be answering your immigration questions.
Absolutely, Brad. The very first thing that they need to do to share is become a member of the official Bradshaw Life Brad Squad, because all of that work means nothing if you're not official. So, follow the link in our comments right now. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can join the official Bradshaw Live Brad Squad Facebook group. The first 5 questions posted to that group every single morning are the only questions in the world that we will guarantee to answer every single day during social media check-in.
By the way, public service announcement.
Tell me.
I know, Shireen, that your name is Shireen Bryson.
Right.
But I call her Birdson
Just cuz.
because I can't read properly.
Now you're a proper member of
Yes,
the Brad Squad.
because you got the name screwed up by Brad.
A screwed up name by Brad,
Yes.
he really loves you. Also, please, if you haven't done so, make sure to like and follow the page or subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. The first thing that you do is make sure to hit that like page. There's a little bell that shows up right beside it. Hit that little bell to get a notification every single time we go live, because we go live at ish, like 5:30.
It's Brad's show live time. We go live on.
Right, and the only people who get the notification of when that happens are.
It's really, you have two choices.
Yeah.
You could send us batteries for our clock and get our clock right.
Yeah.
Or you could just subscribe and then you don't have to send us batteries. Because the problem is the clock in the studio is never right.
Right, it's way cheaper to just share and like and subscribe than it is to send us new batteries. That's a great point, Brad.
That is correct. I asked Julian for the new batteries. He said he was busy selling ice cream. He couldn't do it.
Listen, he's a busy guy to the end of the season, Brad. Also, make sure that you are telling us all of your thoughts and feelings, and most importantly, if you've got immigration questions, drop them in the comments right this second. Not at 5 minutes from now, not a half hour from now, and certainly don't wait till I start asking those bad boys, because we may not get to it. So ask your questions right now with as much detail as humanly possible so that Brad can give you an answer.
I have a public service announcement.
Yeah.
a.k.a. Moxham, Dawn Harriet, squad up. Back to you, Belgium Kim.
Ooh, that's a good thing you say that, Brad.
Yes.
Also, make sure that you've shared the show on Facebook. Hit share, send it as a private message, or start a watch party, which will send a notification to all of your beautiful friends. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, just click share, hit copy link, and then you can copy that link as a tweet, as a WhatsApp message, as a group me, as a textra, anything, any place that you talk with your people, that's where you paste the link and let them know where they can get the best hump day news and immigration advice. It's a weird combo, but this is the place to do it. And now's the time you've all been waiting for. It's that time we gonna be schmoozing with Brad.
So as I said today, it's no surprise, it's 9/11.
Yeah.
That's what's on the mind of everybody. It was 18 years ago today on Wednesday. It was actually a Wednesday. I didn't even realize it was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
18 years ago today on Wednesday, September 11, 2019, America was attacked by 19 militant terrorists associated with the Islamic extremist group al-Qaeda, which was headed by Osama bin Laden. At 8:45 a.m. on September 11th, an American Airlines Boeing 767 Flight 11 collided into the North Tower. That's when I said, get out, when we thought it was a Piper jet. 18 minutes later, a second Boeing 767, United Airlines Flight 175 flew into the South Tower. Both towers were on fire. Burning debris covered the surrounding buildings. Nobody expected the buildings to collapse. Apparently, it was not designed to accept a hit from a jetliner. Nobody expected when they built this building in the 1970s that a jetliner would fly into a building.
Right.
About 30 minutes later, a third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, crashed into the west side of the Pentagon near Washington, D.C. A fourth plane, United Flight 93, which was headed to the White House, got crash landed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, when the passengers tried to overtake the cockpit from the Islamist terrorists. Meanwhile, both World Trade Center towers collapsed into a terrifying and deadly inferno. I don't believe anybody thought when they were designing this that it was not actually the airplane hit that caused the destruction. It was the resulting fire that melted the steel beams. And then the building collapsed on top of one another, like almost like a deck of cards falling on one another, collapsing the building, the concrete from above. During its existence, the World Trade Center was one of the major icons of New York City, and it has been depicted in 472 films.
Wow.
I will say also, Brad Bernstein got married. I'm divorced now, but to my first wife, my only wife, I've only been married once, my first wife, Mira, we got married at the World Trade Center at Windows on the World.
Really?
Yes, and there's a picture. That's not a picture of my wedding. That's just a picture of what Windows on the World was.
Yeah.
We had about 150 people. We took over the restaurant. That is where we got married.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, to my knowledge, Windows on the World used our wedding album to, show other people what their wedding could look like.
Aww.
And so somewhere in the 9/11 debris is my wedding album.
Wow.
Yeah, now, it looked over the 107th floor. It was a splendor. It really was. It was unbelievable views. Now, on 9/11, 73 employees at Windows on the World, many of whom did my wedding, because I only got married 2 years earlier, so I knew many of them, died. 6 men working on a renovation job, and 91 guests who were dining at a business breakfast. So they had some sort of convention breakfast or something, also all passed away.
Wow.
It was at the time the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere, and as we said at the top of the show, each year we honor the more than 3,000 people, 400 police officers and firefighters who died, 3,000 innocent lives lost in the Twin Towers at the Pentagon in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. In Shanksville, Pennsylvania, once the passengers and crew of Flight 93 realized they were part of a wide terrorist plot, they decided to fight back. As we said,
Right.
they stormed the cockpit, and the plane got crash-landed in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Otherwise, because the passengers knew they were going to die.
Which is unbelievable.
They said, we're going to die. This plane's going to crash right into the White House. So they were real heroes because they said either we're going to live and overtake this cockpit,
Yeah.
or we're going to die, but we're not going to crash this plane into the White House.
Right.
One of the passengers, Thomas Burnett Jr., told his wife over the phone, and she has this, I know we're all going to die. There's 3 of us who are going to do something about it. I love you, honey. Another passenger, Todd Beamer, was heard over an open line saying, are you guys ready? Let's roll.
Mm-hmm.
In response to the passengers and crew's counterattack, the hijackers made the decision to crash the plane
Wow.
rather than have the passengers overtake the flight. There is a Flight 93 National Memorial. It is located 2 miles north of Shanksville, Pennsylvania, honoring the 40 passengers and crew who died on 9/11. It features concrete walls outlining the flight path, walkway, and a white marble wall of names. The National 9/11 Pentagon Memorial, located in Arlington, Virginia, honors the loss of 184 people who were working at the Pentagon at the time who died on September 11th. And of course, here in New York City, which is literally, if you ever come to my office, literally a 45-second walk.
Absolutely.
Maybe 45-second walk,
Yeah.
1.5 blocks.
Yeah.
The National September 11th Memorial and Museum, and remembers and honors the 2,983 people killed in the horrific attacks. It's located at the epicenter of Ground Zero at the World Trade Center site. The names of every person who died in the terrorist attacks are inscribed in bronze panels around the 2 enormous memorial pools. I will say, I've been to the pools, because the pools were the actual places where the 2 Twin Towers stood.
Right.
And that is hollow ground, and they weren't going to build on there.
Right.
I have never walked in to the 9/11 memorial. To me, it is too painful. Even 18, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it is too painful for me 18 years later to walk through it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I mean, not that I wasn't here when the buildings collapsed.
Yeah.
But I walked out. I had 2 stories from this. I walked out, I saw the building on fire,
Yeah.
and started walking uptown because there was no trains or anything. Couldn't get taxis or anything.
Right.
Nothing was working. We
Right.
just started walking uptown.
Right.
And luckily, I was well uptown before the buildings collapsed.
Right.
And then, about 2 to 3 weeks later, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Manhattan, south of Canal Street was a military zone.
Right.
And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again.
Yeah.
You couldn't go south of Canal Street. It was
Right.
a military zone. It was U.S. military and police only. And the workers who were trying to clean up from the debris. And we had an office at the time in Queens, and as well as in Manhattan. But we needed, back then in 2001, there was no cloud.
Right.
There was no
right.
cloud computing. So our Queens office was connected to a server in our Manhattan office. And I had to go and get the server because clients were calling, hey, what's going on? I don't know because everything's on our computer server in Manhattan. Our
Right.
office is closed for 3 months. I finally got permission.
Okay.
I finally got permission to go with police escort
Okay.
past Canal Street to go pick up this one computer server. And I went with 2 attorneys, and it was me and 2 other attorneys who worked for me at the time.
Okay.
We got in the police cruiser and we came down to 225 Broadway. And when we got there, it was a ghost town. There was nobody there. There was nobody in our building. We walk into our building, and it was set up as an emergency medical, like MASH unit with IVs, stretchers.
Right.
None of it was used because nobody survived.
Wow.
So it was just all there,
Right.
but never used.
Unused.
5 or 6 stretchers, all this medical equipment. and everything was pitch dark. And there was blood donations. Everything was just sitting there, never used.
Wow.
At the time, there was a Duane Reade, which is a drugstore chain
Yeah.
in Manhattan.
Yeah.
It was fully stocked. We walked in, because we had to walk through the Duane Reade because the doors to our building were locked. Was fully stocked. The cash register was open with cash in it. Nobody,
Wow,
it
with
was
cash
with
in
cash
it?
in it. Just people
Wow.
ran.
That's crazy.
We walked up 5 flights of stairs in the dark. We got the computer server, walked back down 5 flights of stairs, and as we walked back through the Duane Reade out onto the street, 6 guys from the military stopped us, put a gun to my head, and thought I was stealing from the Duane Reade.
Wow.
The cop who took us, he left. And I was literally face down with a gun on my head for about 10 minutes until they figured out that we were just taking our computer server.
Right. And also, nothing that they sell at Duane Reade looks like a computer
I'm telling
server.
you,
What
that's
would you have gone to loot?
And then finally we had to walk the computer server up to Canal Street before we were able to get a taxi.
Wow.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, a calorie pear tree that miraculously survived within the rubble of Ground Zero, now known as the Survivor Tree. It's a symbol of strength and resilience at the memorial, and each year the 9/11 Memorial gives seedlings from the Survivor Tree to communities that have endured tragedy, which is very nice.
I love that
I don't know,
much.
where is the Survivor Tree? I don't know if I've ever seen it.
It's at the memorial. We've got a few images.
We have
of
a
it,
few images of
I
the Survivor
believe,
Tree?
Yeah.
Do we have pictures of the Survivor Tree, Joe? There it is. I'm sure
Yeah,
I've
it's
walked
like
by
right
it.
there,
I'm sure
yeah.
I've walked by it and didn't realize it was the Survivor Tree.
Same. Yeah, look
Yeah.
at it. Right there it is. It's ginormous.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to miss when
Do
you
they
see
have
the
a plaque?
pictures.
Do they have a plaque next to it?
I'm sure they do, but I walk through there all the time and have not even noticed it. So there you go.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump, he commemorated the 9/11 memorial, not as nicely as we just did here, the 9/11, 9/11 anniversary. Not as nicely as we did here.
Right.
He, I have to say, he made a speech, and instead of commemorating the anniversary of 9/11 and remembering the people
Of course.
who passed and why it's important that we all stand as Americans against this,
Right.
instead he gave a speech about why he called off the Camp David meetings with the Taliban.
Perfect.
He says in his 9/11 memorial tribute, this is what he had to talk about. I called them off when I learned that they had killed a great American soldier from Puerto Rico and 11 other innocent people. They thought they would use this attack to show strength, but actually what they showed is unrelenting weakness. The last 4 days we have hit our enemy harder than they've ever been hit before, and that will continue. First of all, since when does Donald Trump like Puerto Rico?
Right.
Okay. And number two, how is this even commemorating what happened on 9/11?
What?
I mean, is he tone deaf? We have video. Let's watch. We don't have video, but he's tone deaf.
That's insane.
It's tone deaf.
How can you threaten nuclear warfare on the anniversary of a terror attack on your country? That's insane.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in some nicer news about 9/11, on this 18th anniversary, there are 13 children of firefighters or police officers who died in the 9/11 tragedy, who have now themselves graduated from the FDNY Academy class in 2 weeks. 13 of them are children of firefighters who died in the 9/11 tragedy. The class includes siblings, 2 sons of one fallen firefighter and the son and daughter of another hero. And this historic group of at least 16 legacy probationary firefighters also includes the son of a New York Police Department officer killed on 9/11 and the sons of 2 firefighters who died due to illness linked to their work and recovery at Ground Zero. The FDNY class has the most legacy members since 9/11, though dozens of other sons and one daughter have previously joined the force. Fire Commissioner Daniel Negro said, "Bravery runs in these extraordinary families who have sacrificed so much for our city."
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Those moms must be so proud of their kids.
And in other news, we just have to before we get into our Hump Day news.
Yeah.
Because we gotta put a smile on everybody's face.
Absolutely.
This is just so ridiculous. Besides Donald Trump threatening Afghanistan with war again.
Yeah.
On 9/11, and also inviting the Taliban to a now defunct peace conference.
Right.
Totally tone deaf. Also, I just find this so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That it turns out that Mick Mulvaney, who is the White House chief of staff, it's being reported in the New York Times, called up. We're talking about, this is Sharpiegate.
Of course.
Okay, so we're changing subjects now. It's Sharpiegate.
Sharpiegate.
Now, for those of you who don't know what Sharpiegate is, you can ask either Jessica Leamy.
Right.
She knows Sharpiegate.
Yeah.
Because she calls him the Sharpie guy.
Sharpie King.
Sharpie King.
Which is amazing.
Okay, but Sharpiegate is basically Donald Trump about a week ago, during Hurricane Dorian, said, "Watch out, Alabama, you're going to get hit."
Yeah.
And there was no weather forecast ever that said Alabama's going to get hit by Hurricane Dorian. And 1 hour after he tweeted that Alabama's going to get hit, the Mississippi National Weather Service, which is run by the Commerce Department, which is our National Weather Service, said, "Alabama, you're safe. You have nothing to worry about. There's no forecast that says that Hurricane Dorian's going to hit Alabama." Now, Donald Trump, he goes crazy. How dare anybody contradict one of his tweets?
Right.
Certainly not somebody who works in the national government.
Because they work for him.
They work for him.
Right.
So he told Mick Mulvaney,
Right.
what is Mick Mulvaney? The acting White House chief of staff.
Right.
By the way, everybody's acting.
Right.
And the reason why they all are called acting is because Congress has never approved them to be in this role.
Right, because people keep leaving too fast.
So none of these people have ever been approved by Congress.
Right.
But the acting White House chief of staff told Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary,
Right.
who runs the National Weather Service, "You better tell those people in Mississippi," and maybe I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
"You better tell those people in Mississippi,
Alabama,
and their bosses,
right,
that they better send out something right now saying Trump's right, that hurricane was going to hit Alabama, or people are going to be fired." And then several days later, you know how it got to be named Sharpiegate is that Donald Trump took a Sharpie and changed the map. Changed the map. Changed the map. Do we have a map there? There's the Sharpie, and I mean, it just looks like a fourth grader did this.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So then what happened was that the Weather Service sent out a press release signed by nobody.
Right.
Signed by absolutely nobody.
Just a nameless press release.
A nameless press release saying it's possible that some remnants of Hurricane Dorian could have hit Alabama.
Alabama could have been hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross's spokesman has denied that he ever threatened to fire anybody.
Of course he does.
A senior administration official on Wednesday said Mick Mulvaney never told the Commerce Secretary to make such a threat. Now, I can tell you right now, without knowing anything, I call, if I had the bullshit buzzer, I would hit the bullshit buzzer right now, because we know Donald Trump has lied more than any president in the history of the United States of America. Right. Now, the release of the National Weather Service statement provoked complaints that the Trump administration was improperly intervening in the professional weather forecasting system to justify the president's mistake, because he's never wrong.
Of course.
The Commerce Department Inspector General is now investigating how this statement came to be issued, saying it could call into question the scientific independence of our National Weather Service, and it's now the weather report is political.
Which they're right.
Now, after the president's repeated statements in a doctored map, which we saw, which started Sharpiegate, stating that the Alabama was at risk, Ross, this is the allegation. Secretary Ross called Neil Jacobs, the acting administrator of the National Oceanic, NOAA, what does that stand for?
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Also an acting administrator, because nobody gets confirmed by Congress, and instructed Dr. Jacobs to fix this contradiction of the president.
Wow.
Now, Dr. Jacobs objected to the demand, but he was told he was going to be fired unless he did something.
That's crazy.
So then, all of a sudden, this nameless statement came out, And now we have something called Sharpie Gate. It's being investigated by the Inspector General of the Commerce Department, as well as 2 different congressional agencies.
I'm sorry, but at this point, if you are a member of an administration and you're a scientist and your boss is telling you you need to fib the science so that
What
you
happened?
can-
What did I just see? What picture of? I was looking
Oh, that
at
meme, yeah.
Trump's completed border wall via satellite photo. I can't see from that far. What
And
am I
just
looking
like that, it's finished. Tremendous progress.
at? That's funny. I can't read that far. I got to start doing this show with glasses.
Yeah,
I
yes,
need glasses
that's
to see
actually,
distance. I
or
can't see that.
contacts.
Or contacts. That would be good
Contacts,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. So what were you saying? I apologize. I interrupted you in the middle.
No, you're good. I was saying that I hold these scientists that ultimately, like Dr. Jacobs, who ultimately decided to issue that statement, it was okay. If your boss is telling you I'm going to fire you if you don't lie about the sciences, that's when, as a scientist, you have to take a moral stand and be like, then fire me because I'm a scientist. Don't lie for your boss.
Well,
That's crazy.
It depends what type of scientist you are.
Apparently not one who gives an F about science.
If you care about the truth, which is
Right.
what science is about.
Hypothetically.
Right.
I just don't get it. That's the blows my
But
mind.
not everybody has your ethics, and not everybody has your morals.
Well, thank you. I need y'all to have some.
Belgium Kim, by the way.
Yes.
Do you know if there's any camels around today?
There are tons of
Are there
camels
some
around,
camels?
Brad.
Are there tons of camels? At least one.
1 to 3, right?
Yeah, that's the ghost camel.
There's-
There he is. All right. So it is hump day. It is
Yes, it
Wednesday,
is.
even though it's not 11. We got to have a little fun here, right?
Yep.
So it turns out that now in Texas, if you're in Texas
Mm-hmm.
and you send an unsolicited nude picture
Yes.
to your beau,
Yeah.
there it is.
That picture.
That picture. That was me last week. Okay, so I wouldn't do that in Texas. Now.
No.
Okay, but by the way, that can't be me. That guy's way too thin to be me. But if you are sending an unsolicited nude picture in Texas, it is now a $500 fine and a criminal record. The state has introduced a new law that means sending someone a nude picture to which they did not consent, whether on a dating app, messenger, airdrop, it is now illegal. All your unsolicited dick pics,
Yeah.
you got a big problem right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
As of Saturday in Texas, it's a misdemeanor. The law has come into play following a campaign by female-focused dating app Bumble.
Good for
Bumble
them.
has done this.
Bumble did
Whose
this.
headquarters are in Austin, Texas, in collaboration with a state representative, Morgan Meyer. According to Cosmopolitan, 78% of millennial women have received an unwanted dick pic. In New York, similar legislation has been proposed for cyber flashing. That's what it's called.
Right.
Cyber flashing.
This is a thing, and I'm so glad that there are finally some legal protections.
Yes.
Because this is so intense. The amount of pictures that women receive, myself, my friends.
You receive them?
Oh, I have absolutely in the past received them.
Nobody's ever sent me a dick pic in my entire life.
That's probably because you're the wrong gender, Brad.
Correct.
That's 100%
Right.
why. But no, I used to. And it comes
But
out
do
of
women
nowhere.
send naked pictures too?
Not unsolicited.
Not only like if their boyfriend asks and stuff, right?
I feel like some women do, but that's. Yeah, I honestly think that they should be held accountable in the same way. Like if a woman is just sending a man a picture, you can't really do that. Because the whole point of this is do not push your genitals on someone who hasn't told you they want to see your genitals. That's the point. So that's how I
Interesting.
feel. That's how
Don't
I feel,
push your
friend.
genitals on somebody who doesn't want to see your genitals.
Just don't, and it seems common sense. And the fact that we have to have a law to protect it because it happens so often is ridiculous, y'all.
All right, so meanwhile, we talked about storming Area 51. It's going to happen.
Right.
On September 20th.
Right, it's happening.
It's going to happen. Okay, there's been a Facebook post. There's several 100,000 people, millions now at this point, who have RSVP'd to storm Area 51 in Nevada. It's going to happen on September 20th.
Right.
And what the theory is,
right,
that if 1 million people or more,
right,
go and storm Area 51,
right,
the U.S. government can't shoot them all,
right,
and finally we're going to get to see what's inside those green aliens.
Right.
Now, some people, are thinking, you know what, maybe some people will RSVP, but maybe they'll be too scared to storm Area 51.
Right.
So now a 29-year-old escort
Yeah.
By the name of Alice Little. She has said if you don't want to storm Area 51,
Right.
you can have an close encounter with her body on September 20th. And she's calling it Alien Stock Festival, inspired by the viral Storm Area 51 movement. Little claims to be the highest earning sex worker in the United States of America. She's 4'8", and she starts at $2,000 an hour.
Woo!
And then this is all because prostitution is legal in Nevada.
Right.
So Little says, in order to provide my fellow ET lovers with the full gamut of Nevada freakiness, I'm turning my suite at the Bunny Ranch into Area 69. So if you don't want to storm Area 51, you can go and storm Area 69 with her over the entire weekend at $2,000 an hour. Now, a number of businesses and celebrities have pledged to join in the supernatural soiree, including a Nevada-based mobile strip club and Food Network chef Guy Fieri. Even offered to barbecue some radioactive ribs. Now, I'm not sure what is more dangerous.
Right.
Storming Area 51
Yeah.
or getting some sort of unwanted something or other from Area 69.
See, I felt like the scariest part of that whole thing was Guy Fieri's ribs.
You think that's the scariest thing?
That is the most.
All right, so what do you so squad, what do you think is this what scares you the most?
Yeah.
Running into Area 51, not knowing if you're going to see an alien, if they're alive, and if the government's going to shoot you.
Right.
Going to Area 69 and getting a disease.
Right.
Or eating Guy Fieri's radioactive ribs. What is the scariest?
What a toss-up.
I have to tell you, all that's happening on September 20th in Nevada. I really think it's Area 69. That would scare me the most.
Are you sending that we need to send a crew out to Area 51/69 to find out? Let's find out on the street, Brad.
I think what we'll do is this.
Yeah.
Okay? I say we'll send Kim to Area 51 and see if she gets shot.
Sold.
We'll send Dr. Yo-Yo to Area 69 and see what disease he comes back with.
Yeah.
And we'll send Little Caesar to eat the radioactive ribs and see if she gets sick.
Okay.
And we'll come back on Monday the 22nd and we'll all compare notes.
Perfect. That's a great segment, Brad.
Meanwhile, a married man's death during sex on a business trip was ruled a workplace accident. This reminds me of one of my all-time favorite movies. You ever see Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn?
With Goldie Hawn, I have.
You have.
A long time
right.
ago.
The only funny scene
Yeah.
in the whole movie, if anybody knows this,
Yeah.
is that Goldie Hawn is this very wealthy, stuck up, self-entitled, super pretentious, woman.
Yeah, she's like an heiress or something, right?
And she gets married.
Yeah.
And on her wedding night,
Yeah.
while having sex with her husband on her wedding night, he has a heart attack and dies.
Right.
And then she freaks out and joins the army, and that's the whole premise of the movie. The only funny line that I remember from this movie is at the funeral.
Right.
When the grandmother goes over to Goldie Hawn and says, "Oh my God, I am so sorry you lost your husband. Oh, just tell me what his last words were. Please tell me what his last words were." And Goldie Hawn turns to the grandmother and says, "I'm coming." And the grandmother goes, "Oh my God, I'm coming," and starts crying. It's the only thing I remember from the movie.
I'll never forget it from that movie, I'll tell you.
So meanwhile, a married man who died of a heart attack after having sex on a business trip in France was ruled to have been the victim of a workplace accident.
Yeah.
His name was Xavier.
Yeah.
He was a railway construction technician.
Right.
And died of a heart attack while on a business trip in the Loire Valley, 60 miles south of Paris.
Right.
Now, the man was found dead at the home of a woman he met that day. The case dates back to 2013, but in May 2019, the court has finally ruled it was a workplace accident. He really died just having sex in Paris. Now, knowing all of this, I will be going to my doctor tomorrow to have my heart checked because I am going to Paris for the weekend.
Right.
I will be back Monday for the show.
Right.
I will be on tomorrow's show.
Right.
I don't want to have a heart attack having sex in Paris. Is that going to happen? Now, if I go, that would not be a workplace accident.
Right.
Unless I'm filming for Bradshaw Live.
Right. But if you're not filming for Bradshaw Live, it is not a workplace accident. But if you are, that means that all of your loved ones are entitled to your paycheck until you're retired, to 80% of your paycheck.
Is that what? That's
the
big. That's the big deal.
That's the deal.
So I should bring a microphone with me.
Absolutely,
right?
just to say,
hey, it's Brad.
There's only one tiny problem here, Brad.
What?
This is French law.
French
so
law.
you have to turn Spar Bernstein into a French business. Un
Well,
business français,
Yeah,
if you will.
well, in France, the court ruled that a sexual encounter is an act of normal life, like taking a shower, eating a meal, and if this was done on his work time,
Right.
it's a workplace accident.
And that's fair. I feel like they're kind of right. It doesn't really matter. They argued that it was because it wasn't hit with his wife. And it's like, that doesn't matter what the man does. Like, it doesn't matter who he's having sex with. Now his wife, who was getting cheated on, is laughing all the way to the bank.
What was Xavier's last words, Kim? What was his last words?
I'm going.
I'm going. I'm not coming, I'm going.
That's awesome.
Meanwhile, a daughter mortified after her mom spots handcuffs
Oh, yeah.
chained to a bed in a photo.
That's real.
Yeah, Ella Martine, she goes to college, she's a student, and was sending a seemingly normal photo of her bedroom set up to her mother.
Right.
So, Mom, this is how I set up my room.
Look at how pretty
Look how
it
pretty
is.
it is.
Oh.
Only to realize that her handcuffs were still chained to her bed.
my gosh.
She tweeted, "Mom's been asking for pictures of my new room. I finally sent one. I'm so stupid." Yes, you are, my dear. And I would like to know what college would put such a stupid woman into such a college, right? It wasn't until her mom, now was her mom smart enough to realize it was handcuffs?
Now check it
All
out.
right, it wasn't until her mom answered that she realized what she'd done. The mom said, "Nice, except for the handcuffs. What's up with that?" So Martine was completely humiliated and attempted to convince her mom that the handcuffs were for a short film her roommate was filming.
Of course.
Luckily for her, Mom seemed to buy it as she replied, "Well, remove them. Super tacky, not very classy, very freshman year, not junior year, but encouraged her to remove them before she leaves for her trip."
That's such a mom response.
Yes.
Not very junior year
I'm
of you.
I'm sure Mom realized what it was and didn't want to embarrass her.
Are you kidding me? I feel like if my mom had seen something
Is
like
this the
that.
woman?
Yeah.
This is Martine?
That's Martine.
Ah, Martine. Of course.
You're gonna slide up in some and that's Martine and her boyfriend.
That's her
Brad.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Look how happy he is, of course. Wait till you meet your mother-in-law, you know? Meanwhile, it reminds me of my college.
See, that's-
Not the handcuffs, but the lying to Mom.
Well, yeah, everybody
Everybody
had to do
did.
that. Yeah.
Like, I remember Mom gave me a credit card.
Yeah.
It was actually Dad.
Yeah.
Gave me a credit card, but Mom paid the bills.
Right.
You know,
An emergency credit card.
Emergency credit card that I was only able to use at the university bookstore to
Okay.
buy my books and paper and stuff. But I wasn't allowed to go buy beer with it
Right.
or any of that stuff.
Can't throw
Right.
Rangers.
And I wanted to be a big shot.
So you threw Rangers?
No,
Okay.
no, I did, but I wanted to be a big shot, and I went to University of Michigan. There was a very fancy restaurant at University of Michigan, like the most fancy restaurant. It was called Maud's. I have no idea if it still exists.
Okay.
Okay, so I would go,
Yeah.
ask out, like a woman like Martine.
Okay.
Hey, you want to go for dinner with me? Usually dinner would be just like, a beer. But,
Right, burgers and fries.
But I'm Brad Bernstein. I go only first class.
Right.
Right, but I have no money. I'm in
Right.
college, right? So I would take the credit card and I would charge it. And then I would do it like 2, 3, 4 times I did it. Finally, my mother calls me up. She goes, "What is this, Maud's?"
That doesn't sound like a school building.
I said, "Mom, it's the bookstore." And she bought it.
What?
To this day, Mom thinks Maud's is the name of the University of Michigan bookstore.
Wow.
Yes, I
and
pulled
then
that
you were
off for 4
buying
years.
books every single week
And I
for the
pulled that
entire
one off
year.
for 4 years. Maud's is the University of Michigan bookstore. True story.
That's unbelievable. Why would anyone spend actually people spend thousands of dollars on books? It's not bad.
It's not possible.
It's
right?
not
yeah,
bad.
because the bill, this is the late 1980s. The bill was like $60, $70, $80, it wasn't like
so
wasn't like I was going for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
So then Mom would see like one for $67, she wouldn't say anything. But after like 4 times in like 3 weeks, 67, what the hell is this,
That's amazing. Then she still thinks it's Maud's.
Yeah, I never told her. Unless she's watching right now, she would have no idea.
Grilled.
Brad Squad, keep it quiet if you
Yeah.
ever see Mom. All right, finally.
Yeah.
Finally. It says here that Grandma reinvented herself after 3 divorces to become a dominatrix.
Yes.
Oh, I'm only 2 divorces away from this.
You're going to become a dominatrix?
If I'm divorced 3 times, damn right.
Okay.
All right. So of course this happened in the United Kingdom. Where else are these horny wacky cases come from.
100%.
But after
You
publicly
could.
sharing how she became a professional dominatrix, 68-year-old Sherry Lever from Wiltshire, United Kingdom, was inundated with over 100 requests from women keen to learn the ropes.
Yes, queen.
The ropes.
So she's a dominatrix that teaches other dominatrixes.
Yes. Now, following 3 divorces, Sherry revealed how she reinvented herself first as a phone sex worker,
Okay.
then as a mistress that charged up to $150 an hour for a session. The mother of 3, who goes by the alter ego Mistress Sophia, maintains her children are completely understanding of this. Now, after appearing on television to share a story, she was flooded with hundreds of emails from women asking how to break into this industry. Everybody wants to now be $150 an hour dominatrix. It's actually not a bad gig, because I don't believe you actually have sex with the person.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Not necessarily have to have
Yeah.
sex. You just have to whip them and
Just
beat
boss 'em around.
Boss them around, whip them, beat them, and say, okay, here's my $150. And actually, you get all your aggression out and you make money.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a bad gig.
And if you're a smart one, you're making them clean your house too.
True. Now, she says, there's quite a few now who are working the phones that didn't before, and I have quite a few that came to me to be trained. I don't charge, but they have to have a dominant streak. One of Sherry's students, Mistress Chloe, says it's changed her life for the better.
Go her.
She says, before I was just a 9-to-5 office job. Now I have men that come over and clean,
There it is.
hoover, clean my kitchen for me, and if they don't do it good, they get caned. I paddle them and I whip them bad.
And then they pay you.
It's not a bad gig.
Great gig.
Not a bad gig.
That's a great gig.
Yes. Now, Jeff Bosey claims he went to visit one once, and he was very fond of her, but he didn't know the safe word. Is that what he's saying? I went to visit her once. I wasn't too fond of her safe word, which was, I'm coming. Oh.
That is an unfortunate safe word, Jeff Bosey.
The safe word. Yes, the safe word. I'm coming. Boom, boom.
And that's when you get caned.
That's when you get caned. Or what was it in, what was the movie, Eurotrip? Safe word.
Oh, is British.
That wasn't the safe
And
word.
she's like,
Did you just say? Did you say?
she gets the power drill out. Oh man! Everybody brace yourselves.
One of the most underrated movies of all time.
So underrated. Love that.
I mean, we have to do Bradshaw Live movie reviews one day.
You know what? We absolutely should. That'll be the same episode as our Bradshaw Live musical.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. We can't do it today.
No, not today.
No.
But
one day, Bradshaw Live musical coming.
Bradshaw Live musical.
And we're going to review movies that nobody's ever heard of before.
Right. In a musical form. It'll be
In a
great.
musical format. All right. While I get ready and stretch for, that was a good hump day.
It was great hump day.
While I get ready and stretch to answer everybody's immigration questions, Belgium Kim, can you please let everybody know what they need to do to share this show?
Absolutely. The very first thing that we need you guys to do is hit that share button, hit copy link if you're watching on YouTube, and make sure that you are copying that link and sending it to all of your friends, whether it's through a text message, an email, a smoke signal, a carrier pigeon, but more importantly, probably closer like a text message or a Facebook message or a WhatsApp. Also, if you're watching us on Facebook, hit that share button and either start a watch party that's going to send a notification out to all of your friends, or you can actually just share it as a private message. It makes people feel real good when they see your face pop up on their phone to tell them about a great free resource for immigration. That's this opportunity right now. Also, make sure that you have joined the Bradshaw Live Brad Squad Facebook group. It's the only way you can be an official member of the Bradshaw Live Brad Squad. And of course, it's the only way that you can get a guaranteed answer to your immigration question, because the first 5 questions that get asked in that group every day are the only questions that we will guarantee an answer to. And finally, please let us know all your thoughts and feelings in the comments, fam, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Yeah, I know you've already liked, followed, and subscribed to our page, so tell us everything you think and feel about the show as Brad deals with these crazy cases with these callers. And now is the time you've all been waiting for, because Brad's getting answers to your immigration.
Olu had to watch the entire schmooze and hump day to get this immigration question answered. 1 hour. Olu, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
Good. What's going on?
Yes. I came to the U.S. through K1 visa. My wife filed for me. So I got my 2 years green card. And so after that, I get another extension. But before then, I already put in for my high 751. So along the line, a month before I got my biometric, myself and my wife, we have a little bit argument at home. So unfortunately, she called the cops on me. So they came, they arrest me. Well, the next day they let me go. So now,
Have you been found guilty of something?
oh well, it says simple battery.
Is that what you're found guilty of, or that's what you're accused of?
Well, according
Because let me say something right now. If
Okay.
you are arrested, charged, and ultimately found guilty of a simple battery, and the complainer, the victim, is your wife, that is a crime of domestic violence. You will be deported.
Okay. So.
So you cannot
well,
plead guilty to that if you want to be in America.
Well, I'm not found guilty because the judge said, okay, that's your first time. But anyway, I went for the diversion program.
Okay, so what state is this?
Yeah.
What state is this?
That was 2018.
What
last
state?
year,
What
November.
state? Where did this happen? What state?
The Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta,
All right. So you went into the diversion program. Generally, when you go into a diversion program, that is not a criminal conviction for immigration purposes, because the judge says to you, I am not going to take a plea. So you are never going to say I'm guilty of something. I'm going to keep this case on hold. You're not going to be innocent. You're not going to be guilty. It's just going to be on hold until you go into this program. And if you successfully complete this program and come back to me and successfully complete this program, I'm going to dismiss the charges against you. Under
That's
that
correct.
scenario, which is what you're probably describing to me, that is not a conviction. You'll be okay.
Okay. So when I received a letter from the immigration, so they saying they want the disposition letter from the courts. So
Okay, stop. Stop.
Okay.
What you're describing to me may not be what happened. Before you or anybody starts submitting dispositions to the government, you pass it by a lawyer first to make sure that you're okay. You understand?
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. All right, because the last thing I want you to do is I'll say, yes, go do it, and it turns out what you're describing to me didn't happen. All right, and
Yeah,
it happens
because
it happens all the time.
Yeah, I already did every necessary thing the court want me to do.
But
so
Olu,
they said,
but Olu,
okay, they're going to
but
send the
Olu,
disposition
Olu,
letter to me this week.
Olu,
Yes.
you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Yes.
When
I
you
do.
submit a disposition to the government, it's used for one reason, to F you over. Literally. You're doing their work. They say, give me the ammunition so we can throw you out of the country. So before, just because you say, okay, this is what I think happened. Now, if it happened the way you told me, yeah, it sounds like you're okay. But you want to get deported, or you want to be 100% certain what you're submitting to immigration is safe? Hold on.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Orville in Destin, Florida. Orville,
Yes, sir.
how are you?
Good so far.
What can I do to help?
Okay, I have two questions. Me and my wife, we get married last year, February.
Right.
In September of last year, she get pregnant. All along, I thought I'm the father. When she gave birth in June, while me and her mom and two other family members was there of hers, her mom say to me, if I sure I'm the father. I said, what do you mean? She said the baby look like someone else.
That's what the grandmother of this child says to you at the birth of your child?
Yes.
So now let me ask you a question. Where are you from?
Jamaica.
Okay, you're dark skinned?
Go again?
I assume you're dark skinned or no? Describe what you look like for a second.
All right, I send you my documents.
One second. Let's get back to this baby thing first. Did the baby
Yeah.
look like you? I mean, are you dark skinned? Are you more Asian? What are you?
The baby look like me. I'm black.
You're black.
The baby,
Okay. Baby wasn't Indian. The baby wasn't Asian. Wasn't white.
No, you just have light complexion.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. So it's possible you have a light complexion in your background somewhere, or maybe your wife. It could be a was it not a gene that's latent, dormant gene. I don't know. Did you take a blood test? Are you concerned this
Yeah.
is not your child?
So it come out I'm not the father.
You're not.
So me and my wife, I question her about it. She say it happened, so I just have to accept it. I say before I accept something like that, I have to know what's going on. Who's the father?
I don't blame you.
She say no ask her no question, and we have a little argument. She left, go to her mom's house. I went to work the night. For around a week she don't come home. One night I go to work and I come home in the morning. She come here when I'm at work and move out all her tough stuff from the house and block me. Before the baby was born, like a month or 2 months before, immigration asked for more evidence. I get a letter from the doctor saying that when the baby due, I get 2 letters from her family member stating that we have a child.
Did you get a green card?
No, just a work permit and a social.
All right, so you're gonna need to file an emotional abuse case and hope that this VAWA gets extended, which it should. All right, but the child's not yours. Your wife moved out on you, so that's what you're gonna need to do. And better to know now it's not your child than later. And I would also go into family court and have a paternity test done and have an order that you are not the father, because other than that, when you get divorced from this woman, you're gonna be on the hook for child support, even though you're not the father.
All right, the baby wasn't, because of that conversation in the hospital. I say I will not sign the birth paper.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you sign the birth paper or not. The law presumes you are the father, and if you don't do something about it,
okay,
you're going to be on the hook for child support, even if you're not the father.
Okay, so like I do the blood test already. I do the DNA already.
You need to get a divorce attorney, get a divorce, prove in court you are not the father, you don't have to pay child support, and think about filing an emotional abuse case. Hold on one second. All right, let's go to Sophia in Pittsburgh. Sophia.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm here. I'm holding on in there.
What's going on?
I'm calling from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I got married last year, January.
Right.
Me and my husband went in for interview last year, December.
Right.
And was told by the immigration officer that the interview went well and we will get a approval letter in the next 2 weeks. It's been 10 months now. And 9 months, we haven't gotten any. My husband called and they said the case is still pending.
Well, these are your 3 choices, and we get this question almost every day now on my show.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you your 3 choices. One choice is to do nothing and sit on your hands and wait. And you may wait another week. You may wait another month. You may wait another year. You may wait 2 or even 3 years. I've seen people wait 4 years for immigration to do something. That's your prerogative if you want to wait. Okay. Second choice is you say, I'm going to do something. And the something you do is you call immigration on the phone. Hey, what's going on? And they say, okay, we'll check and you'll get a letter from us. Or you even go down to immigration and you speak to somebody. Hey, what's going on? And they say, okay, leave something in the drop box. I'll have the officer write back to you. And you may or may never hear from the officer. Or you may say, oh, I'm going to be really smart. I'm going to go to my congressman or my senator or my advocate or whoever you got there in Pittsburgh. And the politician's going to write immigration, and I'm sure they'll get a response. and their response will come from immigration, and will say, and you'll get it back, and I guarantee you, because every congressman writes back the same letter, your case is pending. And you'll say, oh, wow, okay, great. The only thing you can do to get real action is to file a mandamus. You go into federal court with a good lawyer, and you say to a federal judge, you petition a federal judge and say, my rights are being violated. Immigration has 120 days to make a decision for my interview. It's now 10 months. Damn it, I want a decision. And you want to know what? That lights a fire under immigration. Why? Because the U.S. attorney has to get involved. They're much busier with bigger things than your green card. They start yelling at immigration. A federal judge starts yelling at immigration. They're completely embarrassed. They get yelled at by their supervisors. And within 30, 60 days, you get a decision almost every time. And as long as you have an approvable case, your case is going to get approved.
Okay.
That's
Thank
what you
so
do.
much.
So hold on if you want help for that. Let's go to Alan in Dallas, Texas. Alan.
Hello.
How are you, Alan?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Thanks for taking my call, Brad.
Yes, what can I do to
I
help
just want to say you're doing great stuff over there.
Thank you.
My question is, I'm already here on H1B, and I have a I-130 approval on F3 category. My dad, he is a U.S. citizen, and he filed back in 2007 sometimes. So just want to know what are my options. Should I go with?
You're on an H-1B, and your dad filed for you in 2007. What country are you from?
India.
India. All right. Let's see where they're at. I got to pull it up on my computer a second.
I got a email from embassy already about the I-130 approval and.
One second. India, they're up. Your father. You're single or married?
I'm married.
Okay. And what is your priority date?
October 2007.
October 2007?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So right now, you can file an adjustment here because they're up to January 22nd, 2008 for filing adjustment applications in America. Or you can process to go home in India. They're up to September 1st, 2007 in India, but you'll probably wait a few more months. Me personally, I would file your adjustment right here, right now.
Okay, so if I file my adjustment status and once I got my EAD, do I have to maintain my H-1B?
No, you can go work for anybody you want.
Okay, so I don't have to maintain my H-1B, right? And
no.
If I got the AP, do I have any limitations on travel abroad, like certain time limit or something?
Well, if you get the advanced parole, the most you should stay out of the country is 2 to 3 weeks, because after that you start running into a problem at the airport.
Okay, so I can travel only 2 to 3 weeks abroad.
Right.
Okay. And do you know how
and
much time it's going to take?
by the way, I know people who stayed out for 6 weeks and had no problem. I know people who stayed out for 3 months who had no problem. But you're asking me 100. You were asking me.
This is just for the safe
right.
side,
You're
right?
asking me to be safe, 100% certain you have no problem coming back in the airport. 2 or 3 weeks. Because advanced parole is supposed to be for a short, innocent trip abroad, not for months and months and months.
Okay, but by looking the processing time, consular processing isn't it faster, or how much time?
I would file your adjustment, and you can do it right now. That's what I would do.
And do we know a timeline to get the GC? How many months?
Probably 12 months or less.
12 months or less?
I would guess, but I can't tell you for sure. But that's basically what it is now.
Do they have a separate category for the immigration-based I-485?
Do they have a separate category for what?
I-485.
What do you mean a separate category?
I mean the employment-based category and the immigration-based category.
Yeah. The priority dates for family-based are different than the priority dates for employment-based, obviously.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you very
You're
much,
welcome.
Brad. Thanks.
Okay. Let's go to Juliet in Dallas, Texas. Juliet. You're up, Juliet.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on?
Yeah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I came in this year. I filed for asylum, and based on I've not started working, I applied for food stamp and Medicaid for my kids.
This is on asylum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I've gone for my interview, but my result is not yet my decision.
But don't worry, when you're filing for asylum, there's no poverty guidelines, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
All right, so don't worry about what Donald Trump is doing with changes in law. You don't have to you don't need an affidavit of support. You don't have to be above the poverty level when applying for asylum or even applying for a green card for asylum.
Yeah, no. What my question is, I have U.S. citizen kids, and I'm on food stamp right now for them. They are collecting food stamp and Medicaid.
What is your question? You already told me all this. What is your question? I already gave you my answer. But tell me what the question is again.
My question is, will it affect me anytime later in life? Like
I just gave you that answer. I gave you that answer. I said, don't worry about it for asylum. Has no effect. Poverty guidelines don't matter. Okay?
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay. Then secondly, my decision is if the guy, after the interview, he told me my bill will be sent to me in a few weeks, and it's now 2 months.
You gotta give him 100. You gotta give him 120 days, and then if you still haven't heard, give me a call.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Let's go to Yvonne in Westchester. Yvonne.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
What's going on?
Okay. In 2014, I got married to my husband, who was a green card holder at the time. I put in my paperwork in 2017. In 2018, he got his citizenship, and I was scheduled for an interview on December 2018. I went to the interview, but they lost some of my paper.
Okay.
So I submit them over again.
Okay.
Then we got an interview for this year, April.
Okay.
But it was an I-130 interview. Now, if my husband is a citizen, why did I get an I-130 interview?
I don't know. The I-130 is just to prove whether it's a bona fide marriage or not. So perhaps this was in New York.
Yes.
Okay, so the I-130 interview in New York is going to be your Stokes interview. So they're going to separate you into 2 different rooms, and they're going to ask you about 300 questions.
Well, they interview us together.
Oh, good.
We got an approval notice that the interview went well. It was approved.
Right, because that's just to prove it's a bona fide marriage.
Yes.
Right.
But so that has been since April.
Oh, we just lost her. Was it Yvonne in Westchester we were talking to? What? Who just picked up the phone? Call center. Come on, call center. Why would you pick up Yvonne? And now they hung up on Yvonne.
Oh no. Oh no. Call us back, Yvonne. We want to hear you. We want to hear the rest of your story.
Call center violence by Bradshaw Live.
That's not a fun segment, Brad.
What?
Nobody would watch that segment, I think.
Nobody would watch that. Ugh. All right, Yvonne, call me back.
Yvonne, call us back.
All right, let's go to Basil in Bergen County, New Jersey. Basil.
Hello, how are you? First, in this day, September 11, I need to send all my condolences to all victims' family.
Okay.
During this sad day.
Yes, thank you.
And second, I need to thank you, Lawyer Brad, for this amazing show. I'm one of your fans.
Thank you.
I have a very unique case regarding my patient, my parents. They are Syrian, and they had their interview last year and a half, about 1 year and a half, in Amman, Jordan embassy. So my uncle applied for my father years ago, and then they had their interview. After the interview, the consular officer he gave my father a paper, said that this is to inform you that a consular officer found you ineligible for a visa under Section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act, pursuant to Presidential Proclamation 9645. Today's decision cannot be appealed. So, first question, what is Section 212F? Because I know that Proclamation 9645 is about this banned 7 countries, including Syria. But the 212F, what is this Section 212F?
Well, section I have not memorized the Immigration Nationality Act from cover to cover. It's a huge law. I can tell you that all the Section 212s are all of the reasons why somebody would be inadmissible to the United States of America. I don't know what 212F is off the top of my head, but the reason why your parents were denied is because of President Trump's executive order with the Muslim ban, including from Syria. The only thing you can do at this point would be literally it's your uncle who would have standing to sue the government in federal court to force them to give a green card. Whether or not you win that suit, we would have to take a long look at your case. But that would be your only way. You're never going to convince the embassy to give them a visa. It's only going to be a federal judge if you can win in federal court to do it.
I see. Because like at the same paper, it said like the consular officer is reviewing your eligibility for a waiver under the proclamation, but it takes time.
I would sue them. They're never going to. I would sue them.
And there in SIAC.org, if I check the case, it will say administrative processing.
You're going to wait. You're going to wait until there's a Democrat who's the president of the United States.
Actually, the funny thing, that's what the consular officer called my dad last few months, and he said this is the thing.
It's a political thing. You're going to wait. You have two choices: sue Trump or wait for a Democrat. Those are your choices. Me personally, I sue them all day long. But that's what I do for a living.
How about if my sister apply now?
It doesn't matter if your sister applies, you apply. It's because he's Syrian. Same thing. You got to sue him.
So now I need to contact you later.
Yes, you need to contact me immediately. Hold on one second.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Let's go to. And by the way, that would be an Administrative Procedures Act claim.
Right.
That they're not following their own procedures, but we would have to take a long, hard look at exactly what they're doing there.
Where they're not meeting up.
Exactly. We would have to use our brain.
Right.
All right. Let's go to Lou in Dallas, Texas. Lou.
Hey, Brian. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
Good. So my case is like I'm an asylee, and my asylum was approved on December 2015.
Great.
And I filed for I-485 after 1 year.
Wonderful.
But after that, they didn't. They transferred the case to an asylum office. Like after 10 months, it was in Texas Service Center, and after they transferred to the asylum office, they say it's just pending review.
Where are you from?
Ethiopia.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to tell you? It's like a broken record already. Okay, because the government is just doing this to everybody from every quote-unquote shithole country, whether it's Syria, Ethiopia, okay? Unless you come from a country where there's white Christians, you're not allowed in America these days, okay? That's the reality. So what you need to do, if your case for an adjustment is pending more than 12 months.
It is almost 3 years.
You need to file a mandamus. I'm telling you, we just had a client in yesterday. I was just talking to Abadir about it. They waited 2.5 years on an adjustment. Nothing ever happened on their case. They saw Abadir. Within 30 days, the person had a green card. Government doesn't fight these things ever. You just got to do it and have I don't want to say the balls, but the gumption, have some backbone and don't take this anymore.
That's right.
Because 3 years, they're denying you. A visa delayed for 3 years, they might as well have denied you already. Sue them. And it works, I'm telling you. Hold on. That's what you need to do. And we go all over the country and we do this every day. Let's go to George in Atlanta. George.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Brad. Firstly, you're doing a great job here.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot from your show, just watching on YouTube daily.
Appreciate
it. But I'm concerned about my case. I was previously married, and we went for an interview in December. But the interview is, it's pending. I know the reason anyway. My wife she stepped out of the marriage, but we did stay together. We admitted all of this at the interview. Told the officer the child wasn't mine. I didn't sign all of that, but he said it was good. He told me straight to my face that he has to take time to look at.
So your wife
child.
had a baby outside of the marriage.
Yeah, yeah.
So when that
she had
when
to do
that when that happens, they always believe this is a business marriage.
No.
The presumption is it's a business
okay.
marriage, and you got to prove otherwise.
Okay, but my question is this: I did withdraw my case lately, but they went ahead and approved my work authorization renewal. So I'm concerned, like, why would they, when we send the withdrawal in, why would they still approve my work authorization
Because
renewal?
one hand doesn't know the other hand. It's government bureaucracy.
Oh, okay, it's a different department handling this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
right.
I shouldn't be worried about this.
No. What you need to worry about is how you're going to get a green card.
Well, but I mean, my marriage was a real marriage.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I don't have an answer for you. I'm just saying that's what you should be worried about. And maybe you want to have a consultation. I don't have the answer off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I'll probably have a consultation.
Okay. All right, hold on one second. All right, let's go to Tosh in Brooklyn. Tosh.
Yes.
Hi, Tosh.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
What can I do to help you?
I filed for my husband, but they denied him because he have a criminal record back home in Jamaica.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Hello?
Say it again?
I have filed for my husband.
Yes.
To get his green card. But they denied him because he have a criminal record back home in Jamaica.
What's the criminal record?
Manslaughter.
Why would you think that somebody who killed somebody would be able to come to America? I mean, I'm being honest.
I have no idea.
No, you can't. They don't let people who murder people into America. It's just, and manslaughter, by the way, it's like, it's above it's like, it's he murdered somebody, but it wasn't intentional, but it still happened, and you're not going to get a waiver for that ever, not in these days. So it's just not going to happen. I have to be honest with you.
Because then I had someone look into it, and they were like, his pending, something is pending. I have no idea what they mean by that.
He needs a waiver, but the crime that he's asking a waiver for is so horrific. Somebody died. Just in reality, yes, you can file a waiver. It will be accepted and reviewed. But in reality, is in this day and age, in 2019, with everything that's coming out of the White House and Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, is there any chance that you think that the U.S. government is going to say, yeah, Tosh in Brooklyn, we're going to let your husband come live with you in America, even though he murdered somebody in the past? It wasn't manslaughter, but it's still murder. I don't see that happening. I'm being honest with you. Okay, especially when you hear Donald Trump every day saying, we don't want the murderers. We don't want the rapists. We don't want the criminals. They're never going to approve it. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Hold on. I don't know who this is. Hello?
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 Yes, Brad?
Yes.
This is Stacy. I have a question. So
Yeah, go
I got a request for evidence from USCIS for, I'm sorry, so affidavit of support.
Uh-huh.
I'm using a joint sponsor. I filed for my daughter with a separate I-130. She's in Jamaica. So what I want to know is, should I put her on that form I-864?
No, because she's not living with you at the present time unless you have to support her somehow. Or the person who's filing your affidavit of support is supporting her. But she's not in your household at this moment, and she's not being supported by anybody. Now, if the person giving the affidavit of support also sponsored this person, then the answer is yes, because that would be in a different category. Have I ever sponsored anybody? Depends on, I don't know what the whole situation is. But, you got to answer the questions exactly as it's listed. So in other words, the second person who's giving the affidavit of support, I assume did not sponsor your daughter. I assume the daughter's not living in your household. They're not living in the sponsor's household. They're not living in the person who gives the affidavit of support household. Nobody in this group is sending money to your daughter. Your daughter's not dependent on the tax returns. So on the affidavit of support, they're not responsible for your daughter. That's the answer.
Thank you very much.
Right,
and thank you for doing a good job.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye.
All right. All right. You know, today, Belgium Kim. Oh, by the way, before I do that, I do have to remind everybody, you can follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. If you do follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein and you are part of the Brad Squad, and Belgium Kim already previously told you how to become part of the Brad Squad. You just got to join and on Facebook, and I know who you are, and you comment on our show. You can slide into my DMs, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I do that every night. People slide in.
That's right.
All you got to do is follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. You can also follow at Brad Show Live. If you follow at Brad Show Live, you get to see all the highlights from our show, previous shows from the nights before, plus all of our produced content and some other cool stuff too. That's if you just can't get enough of Brad Show Live.
Which you can't.
Which you can't.
Which you can't.
And Belgium Kim?
You can follow me at Belgium Kim TV.
All right, so meanwhile, today I spoke with Spar and Bernstein personal injury attorney and partner Moshe the Bulldozer Borukh. Everybody has a name here, and we call him the Bulldozer.
Right.
And he's here to discuss, he came in to discuss what to do if you get into a construction accident. Let's watch. Every year, 10% of construction workers are injured on the job site. According to the Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries in 2017 alone, 5,147 construction workers died on the job. When an accident leaves a construction worker incapacitated, they and their families lose the financial security they once had. A good attorney is needed to make sure that the injured parties are compensated to the highest level, because most of the time, they will never be able to work again. And there is only one bite of the apple when it comes to fighting for compensation in court. With me to discuss what to do if you or a loved one is involved in a construction accident is Spar and Bernstein's personal injury attorney, Moshe the Bulldozer Borukh. Hello, Moshe.
How you doing, Brad?
Mr. Bulldozer, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
You've been called that many times, right?
That's right.
Yes. Where did you get that name? From an adversary, I think, right?
I believe so. It was a deposition, I think, when I was so aggressive. He's like, look, you're like a freaking bulldozer. You just want to skim through this deposition really quickly.
So anyway, and it stuck. So, everyone at Spar Bernstein gets a name, even the attorneys, we call you the Bulldozer. Let me ask you a question. We're talking about construction accidents here. If you're at a construction site and you get hurt on the job, what do you do?
If you're hurt on a construction site, the first thing I recommend somebody do is stay put, don't move, get your phone out, call 911, get medical attention. That's the first thing you need to do.
Do you know how many people say the first thing I do is to call the safety foreman?
That's what they tell them to do, because they're interested parties. You should never do that, because those people have adverse interests against you.
The site safety foreman actually is employed by the insurance company.
That's right.
They're looking to limit their liability, not give you what you're fully owed.
Correct.
So the site safety foreman is actually against you, not for you. And I think the reason, not only do you want to get medical attention, and the quickest way to get medical attention is to call an ambulance, not have your colleagues drive you to the hospital, but just as important, if you're going to have a lawsuit, and if you're going to be injured and not going to be able to work again, you're going to want to have a lawsuit because you're never going to be able to earn an income again. You have to demonstrate and document what happened.
Exactly.
So if you call an ambulance, there is no question that the accident happened on the job. I've seen in my career, and I'm sure you have as well, many instances where the colleagues drove somebody to the hospital, and then the insurance company or the construction company would say, they never got injured on our site, we have no record of it.
That's a good point. So what happens is, if you have one of your colleagues take you to the hospital after an incident occurs, now the facts have changed. Now everybody can move things around at where the incident occurred. So if a ladder fell, for example, the ladder can be picked up and put away somewhere. And now you don't have the actual ladder to take pictures of, or to have an EMS personnel put notes in and take notes about what happened. So you're right. You should always stay where you are, call for help, medical attention, and get everything documented.
Right. So really the two things, when you say, ouch, I'm hurt, I'm really hurt, is get an ambulance, because the ambulance is going to document that the accident happened, and they're also going to be the quickest way to get medical attention. And two, if you're able to, everyone has a cell phone now, Moshe, right?
Oh yeah.
If you're able to, only if you're able to, take out your phone and take pictures or video of everything around you, who's there, what happened, what fell. Take pictures, as many pictures as you can, because you have to document that that accident happened and how it happened. And if you're too injured, but you're able to talk, ask one of your colleagues to do it for you.
Absolutely. And another thing, Brad, a lot of people, we get a lot of these phone calls, they get injured that moment, but they don't seek medical attention until the following morning. Why? Because they want to show their colleagues that they're big, tough guys. But what they don't understand is that this more time you wait to get medical attention for your pain, even if it's just a sprain, get medical attention that instant moment. Because the longer you wait to get medical attention, you're delaying your case and you might be adversely affecting the case.
But not only, you're adversely affecting it because now you're leaving a question about, were you injured at that moment, or was there something else that happened in the preceding days? Maybe you fell on the street, maybe you fell at home, that all of a sudden now 1 week later you're complaining you're in pain.
Exactly.
So you get medical attention immediately if you're in pain, because you want to document that that pain, that injury, is a result of this accident that you took pictures of, your colleagues took pictures of, and that the ambulance came to the scene and saw you there lying in pain and treated you as a result of the accident that happened. Moshe, quickly before we leave, because people always like to know about our Spar and Bernstein success stories, tell us about one of your great success stories in a construction accident case.
Sure. 3 or 4 months ago, we settled a case where one of our clients was on a scaffold. He was putting sheetrock on the scaffold, and the scaffold, for reasons that are irrelevant to us for the purposes of the case, it fell. And when the scaffold fell, our client fell with it, and he fractured his vertebrae. He had a subsequent fusion surgery, which fuses the two vertebrae together, the uninjured vertebrae. And what happened was we filed a lawsuit. We sued the owners of the premises. We sued the contractors, the subcontractors. So we proved that he couldn't ever work as a construction laborer again. We got him almost $6 million, Brad.
Wow.
Yep.
That's an amazing result. $6 million. If anybody is ever injured in a construction accident, call Moshe the Bulldozer, Borukh. We call him the Bulldozer. They call me Uncle Brad, so you're the Bulldozer. But more importantly, if you know anybody who works at a construction site, you never know when an accident happens. And when an accident happens, the last thing you need to worry about is who you're going to call. So just save our telephone number in your phone. God forbid you or a loved one gets injured. 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Save that number in your phone, and God forbid anybody ever gets injured that you know at a construction site, you can call us immediately, because what you've learned today is it's the most important thing is to get treatment immediately and have your lawyer on the case immediately. Thanks, Moshe. Great job.
Sure. Thanks, Brad.
Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. That's right. So here at Spar and Bernstein, we're not just doing immigration, we're doing construction accidents and personal injury as well. Moshe's unbelievable. He really is the Bulldozer. He got called that by an adversary at a deposition. And then it's stuck.
And that is just now the difference between the caged animal, because one of his clients said she needed to get the caged animal.
Yes, but he used to be the caged animal, but we like the Bulldozer
Now it's the
better.
Bulldozer, yeah.
We like the Bulldozer better.
Everyone gets a nickname on the team.
That's right. All right, let's do something we like to call social media check-in.
Our very first question is from a member of the Brad Squad. They joined the official Brad Show Live Brad Squad on Facebook, and that's how they're getting their questions answered first. The first question is from, hey, it's Carice, who said, if a U.S. citizen is on disability or government assistance, could they petition for their spouse who is already in the U.S.?
Yes, if you're on disability, absolutely. That's not government assistance.
Also, what's the possible time frame would I myself have to go back to Jamaica to collect my green card? My husband is a LPR, but I can't apply for his citizenship because of a charge.
Well, you need to do a provisional waiver if you overstayed your time, so it's at least a year or two out.
Jacqueline said, I filed an EOIR 42B for my husband, also an I-912, approved an I-765 is in the process. His MCH is in February of 2020. We have yet to consult with a lawyer. Can I ask for more time to get a lawyer at his master calendar hearing?
In 2020? No, you're not going to have any more time. You've had over a year to do it. Go get a lawyer. Stop being a lawyer. Your husband's in deportation. What are you fooling around for?
Why would you ask for an extension to get a lawyer when you still have until February to get a lawyer?
Well, that's why they're not going to give it. They're not going to give it to you.
Crazy pants. Elias said, my friend sent his AOS application in May, but since then, the notice receipts are the only thing he's gotten from USCIS. Is that normal, or should he be worried?
When was this filed?
In May.
No, you should have got it biometric by now.
Ooh, he hasn't.
Yeah.
Kunle said, my sister just got her conditional green card. Can she file for her minor children?
Yes.
Abby said someone was arrested for domestic violence but wasn't convicted. Could they get a green card through their citizen wife?
Yes, you still have to prove good moral character, but one arrest and the cases was dropped or he was dismissed, you should be okay.
Sam Mahiz said, I was married to a U.S. citizen and I applied for VAWA in 2018, and I've since gotten prima facie and my work authorization. Would the non-authorization of VAWA by the Senate affect my application?
Absolutely.
And do you think I'm on the right part since I haven't received an RFE?
You're not going to receive anything until there's an extension. They're just not looking at these cases right now.
Shamroy said, I got an update yesterday from the embassy about clarification on my friend's status that showed ready. His family got through with their papers and the interview and the medical, but his papers showed ready, although he has received an appointment from the embassy. The embassy yesterday replied that he's over age and is not qualified as a beneficiary. What should they now do after it just says ready and now he gets turned down over here in Guyana? He was petitioned for in 2012 by his grandmother sending for his father, so he became a beneficiary on that.
Wait, he got turned down when?
Earlier this week, it sounds like, because he was over age.
Well, you got to check to make sure you qualified under Child Status Protection Act. If not, and you're over age and you didn't qualify under Child Status Protection Act, you got to find a new way to get a green card. But there's Child Status Protection Act, and a lot of times, especially the embassies in Guyana, they screw it up all the time. So you should be calling us and let's recalculate to see if the embassy did it right or not.
Lawyer peoples. Jaheen said, my father is a U.S. citizen and he had applied for an I-130 for me in May of this year. I'm a married daughter and I'm 33. I've got 3 children. Could you tell me how much time it's going to take for the approval of my case? I'm from Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, she's married. She's a married daughter of a U.S. citizen.
Yep.
It's at least a 15-year wait.
Yep.
But by then, Trump will be out of office, and hopefully we like Pakistan again.
Right. CM said, my husband had a green card when he applied the I-130 for me. Now it's been 436 days have passed since my I-130. He had interview for his citizenships. When he gets his U.S. passport, how can he help me to expedite the process? We're in Afghanistan. I'm in Afghanistan.
Well, Afghanistan's another problem.
It's a toughie, y'all.
All right, you got to upgrade and get an appointment, but Afghanistan's going to be another problem. These are all these Muslim countries where you're getting huge problems. But if he's a U.S. citizen now, he has to notify immigration that he's a U.S. citizen and get the case to the National Visa Center and get a lawyer. People from Afghanistan, people from Syria, people from Pakistan, you're not getting through that fast without a lawyer. It's a problem.
No.
All right, we just had the United Nations call us to try to get visas for people out of Pakistan. United Nations can't even get it done.
Our next question comes from DZ, who said, I filed an I-824 to transfer my approved I-130 to consular processing because my U.S. citizen wife and I left the U.S. to see my sick dad without getting advance parole. How do I expedite the case? We want to get back.
Wait, say that again?
So I filed the I-824 to transfer my approved I-130 to consular processing. Because my U.S. citizen wife and I left the U.S. to see my sick dad.
When did your wife overstay her time by more than a year? She has a 10-year bar.
Well, she's a U.S. citizen.
Okay, did you overstay your time by more than a year? Because if you did, you have a 10-year bar. If you overstay by 180 days, it's 3 years. You can expedite it, but you can get a lawyer to process you through the National Visa Center, assuming you don't have a 3 and 10-year bar.
Belkacem said, I'm a citizen and my wife is a green card holder. She's renewing her green card these days and she's pregnant and has government Medicaid because of the pregnancy. Does the Medicaid affect her green card?
No. The whole Medicaid thing is about people who are sponsoring. Not you have a green card, they're not going to take it away because you have Medicaid. Only if you're going to be a sponsor. That's the big difference.
It's Nisha said, whose information is supposed to go on the I-864W if you're filing for a child under 14 and the parent is a U.S. citizen?
It's the parent. You still have to give an affidavit of support, but as soon as they come into the United States, they become an automatic citizen.
Bridget said, Brad, please educate me on the I-601 process and the likelihood of approval. My husband was denied for 2 CIMTs 212A2, but crimes were expunged in Jamaica.
Expungement is not a vacator. Expunge means you were found guilty, some time went by, and then the judge says, because you're a good person, we're going to expunge it, we're going to take it off your record. But that doesn't mean that you were never guilty and had some sort of sentence imposed on you back in the day. That's all that's required for a conviction under the Immigration and Nationality Act. 2 crimes of moral turpitude, that means you can't come to the United States without a 601 waiver. The 601 waiver is filed here in the United States. It's filed by the U.S. citizen's spouse, saying that they're going to suffer some extreme and unusual hardship if they're not united with their spouse who got denied the visa. Generally speaking, extreme and unusual means that the odds that you get the waiver approved are less than not, because if it's a usual hardship, everybody would get it approved. This is extreme and unusual hardship. You really need a good lawyer to advocate for you.
Our next question comes from DZ, who said, is there any way to apply for a humanitarian parole since the I-824 was approved, but it's taken so long?
What would be the humanitarian parole? What's the reason?
We've got 2 kids and we've got 2 kids and my wife can't get back to the U.S. on her own and manage to take care of the babies, so they left before they got the advance parole for the sick dad.
No, that's not a reason. You got to start all over from scratch, and that's why they did the I-130.
Sandesh said, can I file the N-400 paper next month because I've checked the N-400, the form, and it says that it expired March 31st of this year.
No, then get the new form.
Yeah, there's a new form, man.
There's a new form.
Philippa said, my daughter filed the I-864 on my behalf, and she's a full-time student with no income. She's got a joint sponsor and worked summers and filed taxes for the last 3 years. Should she still select should she still select question that she's not required to file?
Well, I don't even know what that means. Say it again. Read it directly as it says.
I literally...
all right, so let me put it through the Facebook to English translator.
My daughter filed for the I-864 on my behalf, and she's a full-time student with no income. She has a joint sponsor, and she has worked summers and filed taxes for the last 3 years.
But then she does have an income.
Of
some sort. Okay, continue.
This is where it gets tricky. Should she still select quests that she's not required to file?
No.
Wow.
Your daughter filed a tax return, even if it was for $10,000. If she earned under $8,000, she's not required to file a tax return. Then she has no taxes. I think that's what the question is.
Yeah.
That she earned less money than is required to file a tax return.
There it is.
So the answer is yes, you check off not required to file a tax return. She can still say her income was $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Who cares? It doesn't really matter because that's below the poverty level. The person who gives the second affidavit of support will hopefully take you above the poverty level.
Sandesh said, can my fiance give an interview for a K-1 visa from a different country because she lives in Spain and she's a legal resident there, but she was born in Nepal?
You can request Spain to do it, but since she's not a citizen of Spain, they may say no. But you can request third country, such as Spain, but you got to request the embassy to do it in advance, and they have that discretion to take it or not.
Leul said, my asylum was approved in December of 2015. I applied for the I-485 after a year.
I think we spoke to him on the phone, and I yelled at him about a mandamus. He was in Dallas, Texas.
It's been almost 3 years. You're absolutely right, Brad.
Right.
Andre said, I'm an American citizen, but I only lived in the U.S. until I was 12, and since I've been living abroad. I want to go back with my 2 children under 18. Do I need to justify that I can support them?
They're a U.S. citizen?
The person writing the question is a U.S. citizen.
And their children are under 18?
Yes.
And they don't have green cards?
It sounds that way.
Yes, you have to give an I-864 to file for them. And if you can't support them, then you get a second affidavit of support. But when they come in the United States to come live with you, if they're still under 18 and you're in their physical and legal custody, then they become automatic U.S. citizens.
So it sounds like they've been together the whole time. But I'm going to guess it's Andres, so it's Dad. But Dad's been living abroad since he was 12.
With them.
With them.
Okay. So if they were born to a U.S. citizen, meaning that you are a U.S. citizen and then these children are born and you can prove that you were living in the United States for 5 years over the age of 14, they were automatic citizens. But you told me he was living abroad since he was 12 years old. So now you got to file an I-130 visa petition for them. They have to come to America with you to live with you, and then they would become automatic U.S. citizens.
Okay.
And yes, you'd need an affidavit of support. You sign it and somebody else.
Another update from DZ. DZ, we're going to get to the bottom of your case, I promise. So I don't have any kind of ban. So DV's left for sick dad, right? With U.S. citizen.
Oh, we're back to him. Okay.
Yeah, with U.S. citizen wife and 2 kids.
Right.
So I don't have any ban. I had a pending adjustment with an approved I-130. No advance parole, and I left.
Once you leave, let me start with
Hold
this.
on, let me just.
Okay, but once you leave
Yeah.
on an adjustment without an approved advance parole, that denies your adjustment. You have no more adjustment. You have no way to come back. You have no right to come back. There's no humanitarian parole. There's nothing. You screwed up because you left without advance parole. You could have easily have tried to go to your local office to get an emergency advance parole, but you didn't do it. Now you got to file an I-130, and you got to wait out the process, which takes a while. If your I-130 is pending more than 12 months, yes, you can file a mandamus. You come to me. But other than that, it's like an 18-month process.
So it's saying that they are currently both in Algeria, and they filed the I-824. Is that going to do anything?
It's 12 months. You're going to be waiting a long time, unfortunately.
And they're saying, is there anything they can do to expedite the I-824?
Not really. Not unless it's pending more than 12 months.
Y'all, be careful.
Yes.
Okay, Cyril said, what happens if your spouse refuses to attend the I-751 interview? How do you withdraw the application, and do you get all the paperwork when you withdraw it?
You don't withdraw the application,
Don't do it.
because if you withdraw the application, you're going to get put in deportation.
That's it. It's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
So what you need to do, if your spouse is refusing to go to the I-751, your spouse is a lousy spouse. You get a divorce, you start a divorce, you terminate the marriage, you let immigration know you're going through a divorce, you're terminating the marriage, you're requesting a waiver of the joint requirement to go on an interview because you're going through a divorce, and you prove the marriage was valid and bona fide, and you're going through a divorce.
Harpal said, my parents are green card holders from Pakistan. They submitted a case in April of 2018. I am their only son. I'm 27 and unmarried. What's the time frame for the approval?
You're 27 now?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be into your mid-30s before you get here.
IK said, how do you bring 2 sons, 35 and 38? One of them is disabled from Azerbaijan here. I have a green card through VAWA from 2018, and I applied in 2018 for an I-130 for both of them.
You shouldn't be doing an I-130 if they're under 21.
No, they're 35 and 38.
Okay, then unfortunately, there's no special category to bring disabled children in faster. You're just going to have to wait like everybody else. It's 6, 7, 8 years.
Ian said, how long does it take for a decision to be made after having done the fingerprints of petition to remove conditions that was done last month, and now it's been pending for 8 months?
You're waiting at least 18 months.
Vaneka said, I'm about to file for my husband and I've got a green card. My citizenship is pending. When I receive my certificate and update my status, will the process be shorter?
Yes.
Whoop whoop. Sandra Salinas, our good friend,
yes,
said, my friend needs to renew her permanent green card. He has to go to the USCIS for an interview to apply, but lost and renewed his permanent card with no expiration. Will he have to go to an interview to renew his card?
Well, he needs to get fingerprinted, but there shouldn't be any interview.
Nathan said, I amended my taxes with my wife. However, my co-sponsor, a.k.a. my mom, filed me as, that's exactly how I'm going to start referring to my mom, my co-sponsor, a.k.a. mom.
Okay.
I amended my taxes with my wife. My co-sponsor, whose mom filed me as a dependent for the last 3 years because she helped support me. Does she have to amend hers as well?
Yes, because somebody's not telling the truth.
Right. If we're, yeah.
You can't be a joint tax return with your spouse and a dependent on your mom's taxes. That don't jive.
I mean, mom probably feels like she's supporting you and your wife, but that's not how it works with the IRS. And finally, for right now, from Content for All, he says, Brad, my case is in AP 221G. They asked to submit a new sponsor.
Administrative processing. Not advanced placement in high school.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. Or advanced parole here
advanced
would be
parole.
more
Okay,
likely. But
right,
yeah.
right, okay.
They asked me to submit a new sponsor, which we've submitted. Now, how long's the wait?
At least 120 days. At least.
Okay.
Now we're going to get to more social media questions and what we like to call our social media speed round in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Yes.
Where I will answer at least 20 questions in 3 minutes or less.
Wait.
In about 6 minutes.
Okay.
20 questions in 3 minutes or less. It's going to be a Guinness Book of World Records. You watch me. Nobody has ever tried to answer 20 questions, immigration questions, in 3 minutes or less. It doesn't exist. Nowhere else except here at the Brad Show. But meanwhile, before we get to that, so if you asked your question, you haven't been answered it, you're going to get it. Trust me. You're going to get the answer. But meanwhile, in honor of Fashion Week, which I partaked in.
Right.
Partook. We sent our very own fashionista, Dr. Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Right.
Out on the streets of Manhattan to test people's knowledge of where some of our favorite looks originated from in the first edition ever on Brad Show Live of Fashion Around the World. Let's play.
What's up, Brad Squad? This is Yonathan Elias out here in New York City, and guess what? You guys already know that I like fashion. I like fashion a little too much, but I know you guys do too because the Brad Squad is pretty fly. But do you know where your favorite fashion trends actually come from? Yeah, I don't either. So that's why this game is gonna be fun. I'm gonna test some New Yorkers, and I'm also gonna be testing you guys as well to see if you guys actually know where some of your favorite fashion trends actually originate from, all right? So let's go. All right, I got my fashionable brother here. You ready to play?
I'm ready.
Number 1. The mini skirt. You like mini skirts?
Yeah, I shouldn't, but I do.
All right, now did it come from A, Paris, France, B, London, UK, C, San Francisco, D, New York, New York, or E, Rome, Italy?
How much time do I have?
Now.
I'm gonna say E, Rome, Italy.
I'm gonna go San Francisco, California.
Just because you're from Sacramento.
Because I'm from there.
A, Paris, France, B, London, UK, C, San Francisco, D, New York, or E, Rome, Italy?
You know what? I'm gonna go a little deeper into the devil. I'm gonna say Rome.
London.
With ease. I love it.
I know that one.
You got that. London designer Mary Quant is the one responsible for making those little risque miniskirt raised hemlines in the late 1950s. Although short tunics were used by the Romans as under armor in the Middle Ages, Quant put them on High Fashion Street and named the design after her favorite car, the Mini. All right, Doc Martens. Is it A, Munich, Germany, B, Moscow, Russia, C, Prague, Czech Republic, D, Zagreb, Croatia, or E, Poland?
That's gonna be Croatia.
A, Munich, Germany, B, Moscow, Russia, C, Prague, Czech Republic, Z, Croatia, or E, Poland?
Germany.
I'm gonna go Munich, Germany.
There you go. You better do it. You redeemed yourself.
Ooh, you gotta have something to kick down that wall, right?
These boots are known as icons of rebellion, but they were originally designed for practical purposes. A foot injury on a skiing trip prompted Munich-based Dr. Martens to develop a comfortable air-cushioned sole. All right, now 3, denim. Did it come from San Francisco, Ankara, Turkey, Madrid, Spain, Nimes, France, or Maremma, Italy?
You said San Francisco?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
Oh shit, I don't know about that one. I'm gonna say, I thought it was Japanese, but I guess that's just Japanese denim.
I don't know. Let's go with Italy.
Nimes, France.
Come on.
Denims, Nimes.
I'm 0 for, what is that, 0 for 3?
0 for 3. Levi Strauss sold these hard-wearing jeans in mining communities in California in the 1850s. But it was actually the French town of Nimes, get it, Nimes, that began producing the fabric in the 1500s. All right, how about pashmina? Pashmina, like the shawl.
Yeah, right.
All right, so did it
sell those on 32nd?
Oh.
Yeah, for real.
All right, so did it come from Hong Kong, China, Kashmir, Indian subcontinent, Bangkok, Thailand, Greenfield, South Carolina, or Malaysia?
I wouldn't say India or Malaysia, but I'm gonna go with Pashmina. I'm gonna go with India.
There you go. You are killing it.
I'm gonna go with Kashmir, India, subcontinent.
There you go. You got it.
Kashmir, India.
Ooh.
There's one thing I know, it's cashmere.
Pashmina shawls have been hand-spun, woven, and embroidered in cashmere for thousands of years. The Persian word pasham means wool and refers to the fine blend of cashmere from special breed of goat indigenous to the high-altitude climate of the Himalayas in Nepal, Pakistan, and northern India. Since the Pashmina craze that hit globally in the mid-1990s, the goats are now reared in Gobi Desert in Asia. Now 5 espadrilles. Is it A, Colombia, B, Key Largo, Florida, C, Spanish Pyrenees, D, Jakarta, Indonesia, or E, Ghana?
Let's go with Ghana. I want to say Spain, but I'm going to go Jakarta, Indonesia. That's my final answer.
Ooh, you should have went with your first guy.
Damn. I'm gonna have to go with the bronze, man. I'm gonna say West Africa.
I almost thought that too, but it actually is Spanish Pyrenees.
See, I would have never got this. See, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
And I took geography at Georgia State. Go figure.
It originally hails from the Spanish Pyrenees, where they were worn around the 13th century. Its name is derived from esparto, which is a kind of plant that was originally burned, then braided to make the soles. These shoes are light and easy to pack for travel in America. They were popularized by Lauren Bacall in the 1948 movie Key Largo and in the 1980s by Sonny Crockett in Miami Vice. So now the caftan. Did it come from A, Lebanon, B, Tokyo, Japan, C, Jerusalem, Israel, D, St. Petersburg, Russia, or E, ancient Mesopotamia?
I'm gonna go with Jerusalem, Israel.
You know what? I'm going to go with my man Gilgamesh on this one. Go ancient Mesopotamia.
You got that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh knows how to dress.
I'm gonna say ancient Mesopotamia. Is that right? Yeah. I mean, think about a caftan. It looks like an old-timey toga.
It does.
Or like a toga. I don't know.
Exactly. Okay, caftan is a Persian word, but is actually known to originate from ancient Mesopotamia. The Ottoman sultans from the 14th to the 18th centuries wore lavishly decorated caftans. Caftans are made in different fabrics, often silk, wool, or cotton, and commonly bound with a sash. They are worn by both men and women across Iran and North and West Africa and into West Africa. In the 1950s and early 1960s, caftans became fashionable in Europe and North America after being adapted by French designers such as Christian Dior and Balenciaga. In 1966, Vogue described the caftans as an essential garment for every member of the jet set. Now let's get this last one, the eyeliner. Is it A, Manchester, England, B, Athens, Greece, C, Bangkok, Thailand, D, ancient Egypt, or E, India?
Ancient Egypt.
There you go.
That's easy.
Right.
This is a 3-pointer. Ancient Egypt.
There you go.
You know Cleopatra fine as hell.
Thank you! Why is she fine as hell?
Because she got her eyeliner on point.
There you go!
Her eyebrows, her eyeliner, all of it.
I love it. I love it. All right. You got it, man.
Do I win anything? Or do I just sense of satisfaction?
A sense of satisfaction.
I was in need of that anyway. I appreciate it.
Eyeliner was used by men and women of high status. It's not only protected eyes from scorching desert sun, but was also believed to protect a person from the evil eye. Eyeliner's currently popularity is owed to the discovery of King Tut's tomb in the 1920s, which led to the rise in its use by people globally. Designers from the 1960s used heavy eyeliner to enhance their styles, as well as punks, goths, and emos in the 1970s. The eye-enhancing fashion continues to be embraced by today's modern fashion. I don't wear eyeliner though. Well, there you have it. We brushed up on our knowledge of fashion trends and where they originate from. I wonder how you guys did. You know, it was 50-50 with the New Yorkers. They weren't really too sure, but some of them did pretty well. I think you guys probably did too, because Brad Squad is pretty fly. Brad, how'd you do now? All right, back to the studio.
All right, we're going to put 3 minutes on the clock in our speed round. I'm going to answer 20 questions. I think I can do this.
We got this.
Do this blindfolded.
No problem.
You ready?
No problem, Brad.
All right.
Let's get it going.
You can do it!
We can do it!
You can do
This
it!
is for a Guinness World Record that we are setting ourselves.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Pierre said, my sister passed away and her boyfriend left the kids in Haiti. What can I do to take those kids as my own?
Orphan petition. You got to come in and see me first.
Dana said, can I change my name after a divorce without a court order? I'm applying for the N400.
Yes, you can do it on the N400 at your interview.
Shireen said, is it true that an immigration medical only lasts 60 days now?
That's 6 months.
Bernard said, do you need to apply for a work permit after you get your green card?
No.
Mariovo said, I went for my rap sheet and I've got a DUI conviction. Is that going to be a problem?
Generally not.
Kiki said, how long will I have to go back to Jamaica to collect my green card after it's been approved by my My husband is a LPR.
If hopefully you have a provisional waiver or you didn't overstay. But assuming you have a provisional waiver, didn't overstay, about 2 to 4 weeks.
Isa said, why would immigration ask for an interview and then arrest the person applying?
Because they're deportable and it's easier to arrest them at the interview than go search around America looking for them.
Ben said, can a pending I-130 RFE, which has been replied to, affect your submitted adjustment of status even after you've done your fingerprint?
Yes, it's delaying your case.
Hossein said, is it possible to adjust an F1 visa to EB3 or another category?
Yes.
Dornette said, how long after your biometric will you hear from them?
Hear from them for a work permit about 6 months from the time you file.
Williams said, next year I'll be in removal of conditions. Are the public charges going to affect me?
No.
Hossein said, if I apply for an EB3, is it legal to pay consultancy fees for processing the visa to a constancy firm?
Yes, it's legal, but you're going to somebody who's unlicensed most likely because they're not lawyers and they're probably not authorized to act on your behalf with immigration. So anything they put on your application, you're basically signing and they're taking no credit for it.
Paul said, my sister sponsored me in December of 2016, but USCIS still hasn't approved me yet. When are they going to approve me?
Beats me, but it's going to be years and years before you get a green card.
May said, how long does it take to get your 10-year after removing the conditions?
At least 18 months.
Joel said, how long does it take to get a green card after the I-485 was approved?
That's your approval, so it should be in the mail within weeks.
Jumping Drew said, I'm a resident alien wanting to file for my siblings in Jamaica and possibly their kids. What's the requirement and wait time?
You can't file for siblings. You got to be a citizen.
Sandra said, my friend needs to renew his permanent resident card. Can he renew online?
Yes.
Marie said, I just want to know how long does it take for an I-130 to become approved if the person is from another country?
It depends on who you're sponsoring, but assuming you're a citizen, at least 12 months now.
Priscilla said, my husband filed for me and it's been 4 months. I need to travel. Should I fill out the I-131 again?
If your advance parole is current, you don't. If it's not current, you need a new I-131.
Jerry said, if my wife filed an I-130 in August of 2019, how long is the expected wait time?
At least 12 months.
Bam! With time to spare.
It's not even putting any pressure on me anymore.
You know who's going to have a lot of pressure?
What?
It's Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Yes, because he's like, wait, what? Huh?
We're now setting a bar of time.
I know, but because this is Yonathan asking the question. John says, wait, huh? What?
Right.
Right?
He's very reactive to everything.
Right. What? Every question starts.
Huh?
Wait, what? Huh?
And then he gets it, and then he's like, "Oh, right.
Okay, so this is it now,
right?
Because somebody doesn't write it perfectly, he's trying to understand what they're saying.
Right. There's a lot of extrapolating that
Correct.
goes on in
Correct.
social media checking.
All right, let's go to comments of the day. We're only kidding with Yonathan. Yeah.
We do love Yonathan very much.
I love Yonathan to death.
We love
him to death.
Fun fact about Yonathan.
What?
His toughest segment he finds is this one right here, comments of the day.
Yes.
That's the toughest. That is the toughest for Jan, and he's like, I got this. He's been really starting to build himself up. It's amazing. Jan, we miss you. Come back.
Yes.
Brad supporter said, I missed the show yesterday, and I don't think that's healthy for me. I'm pretty sure I didn't learn anything in class yesterday because my mind was on the show. Hey!
Class is here. Class is here.
That's right. Don't waste all your money in college. Right. Just watch a show for 2 hours every day. Fearless Michelle, she was actually talking about the 9/11 anniversary today, and she said, I actually walked through the World Trade Center today. It was nerve-wracking. RIP to the victims of 9/11 and condolences to their families. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Asset Lindo had a little something to say about your mom not knowing what mods was after all these years.
What?
She said, Brad, I hope she hears you and busts your ass and lets you pay back every cent. Asset Lindo's about to write a letter to your mom.
And by the way, Alexa DeReal is not much better. She says, I'm ensuring Yo-Yo knows what you're saying, Brad. Wow. Causing trouble.
Wow.
Everyone's causing trouble for me.
Yeah, why are y'all
I opened my
not
big
on
mouth.
our side?
Yeah, causing trouble.
No. Come on. Would your mom be mad if she found out that mods wasn't real?
Yes.
Yeah, I just think she would.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's stuff I did in college. My mom would still be mad about if she found out. Absolutely.
Moms never forget anything. They never let you forget anything.
They don't.
Right, and she even tells me to this day, I'm 50 years old, and she says, I'm still your mother.
But you know what you at least never did, Brad?
What?
You never sent a picture of your room with handcuffs on your bed.
I did not. You want to know why?
Why?
Because there were never handcuffs on
Never
my bed.
used handcuffs. So
I never had that experience in college.
That's a sadder college story.
Yeah, it's a sad college story. Notice how I said in college.
In college, he did. Now the dungeon is equipped, y'all. I'll stop.
Yes.
Okay, so Andre says, I really appreciate you guys. Because of your show, I was able to stay on top of my case. I will always recommend your office with anyone that needs professional help. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. That's great. Appreciate it.
And finally, last but certainly not least, First Lady Hewitt with the G, and she knew. She is such a G. She said, wow, 360 viewers on Facebook. This needs to go down in the Guinness World Record. Big up, Brad. You are the bestest. And then she had one more after that. She's like, by the way, I didn't ask a question. I just wrote my comment of the day.
Which is true. By the way, big up to the whole Brad squad. We had over 600 contemporaneous combined viewers between Facebook and YouTube today, which is a record for us.
Yes, it is.
So thank you all for sharing. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?